All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I fucking installed what did I install? I installed Mountain Blade on that drive and didn't. I just ran out of. I'm glad I didn't do that during like a fucking radio show. So it's good that we're doing this editing stream to get that out of the way there. But oh shit, somebody sent me a new message. Let me see what that's all about there. Who dares summon me at 7 in the morning there? Uh, no, I'm not going to fix that for you. You have to figure it out your fucking self, person. All right, so we're back. Did we lose? Do we have any audience whatsoever left? Looks like we might have like about 8 people still in this mother. Or hold on, let me actually refresh the restream chat. No, we have fucking nobody into the thing. But that's okay. Now we're up to like 2 people. So welcome back. Yeah, sorry to get cut the fuck out there. It's just you know, sometimes these things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, it looks like Twitch is back up there. Yeah, that's my own fault for not. God, do I have to buy another fucking hard drive? Maybe I'll build a new computer for this shit. Maybe I will. We'll see. Okay, but let's bulging. There we go. I'm back. Mm-hmm. Oh, this isn't happening. This is happening in a partial vacuum. There. There we go. Yeah, a quality suggestion from Red Boss with more gore. So whoever came up with, I think it was Spaethiwa who came up with the idea of like, how's this point blooming open if it's piercing the stickman? So it's just like, whoosh, just flinging parts of him to. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so this whale does have gravity here. Unsure what to do, Gunny locked up as well. The point of the spire bloomed open like a black rose, ripping the stickman apart and flinging the pieces across the room. Gunny's visor was suddenly speckled with blood. Mm-hmm. Fought the urge to vomit. No, he's not going to throw up just because a stick man gets ripped in half. These are tards. They're not fucking fussy. But Gunny does hit. So later we go into how Gunny. What would he? How big are these guys? So he'd resist wiping it because, well, one, he's like standing still like the other Marines. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Two, it will smear and so forth. And three, he has the urge to like wipe it off because Gunny hates having shit on his helmet. We go into that later in the story. Let me see. It's 2Gs. So this room, we haven't established the gravity in this room. And I don't think that we will. I don't think it's pertinent for what's going on in this story. Okay, cool. Big. It seemed like they were searching for something. Seen the cube? I solved the cube. I did see the fucking cube, but it's been more than 20 years. Or maybe not more than 20 years. Oh yeah, thanks for all the help. Adjective, noun. Some good suggestions there. I appreciate it. But let's see. The platoon remained at rigid attention. They recognized this was a hive strike, and they were assuming thumb butt protocol. Invisible to rate. Okay, so the platoon remained at rigid attention. They'd recognized this was a hive strike, and they were assuming thumb-butt protocol. There were 22 recorded attacks on whales from penetrator hive ships, invisible to radar and lidar. The hives looked like jet-black spaceborne bacteriophages, about 5 times the size of a rat's. They emitted almost no heat, had no apparent propulsion systems, and they appeared out of nowhere to unerringly strike their targets. Butt cheeks clenched. No, I could be. Did I address how the point opened up whilst you're piercing the guy? Yeah, we said that it opened like a black rose and ripped the guy apart and flung pieces of him around the room. Nice. They emitted almost no heat, had no apparent propulsion system. And appeared out of nowhere to unerringly strike their target. The hive ships had emitted almost no heat, had no apparent propulsion systems. Okay, cool. Oh, it's little Nick Gurr right there, shouting out to Zach ZYZ. So they're black. Would they reflect light? They're invisible to radar and lidar. But yeah, I think they reflect light. It's not like totally black. They're jet black, so maybe they're shiny. The hive ships. So let's go into this. The platoon remained at rigid attention. They'd recognized this was a hive strike, and they were assuming thumb-butt protocol. There were 22 recorded attacks on whales from penetrator hive ships. And this should be a separate paragraph. At the time, because this is in the past, at the time there had been 22 recorded attacks on whales from penetrator hive ships. Invisible to radar and lidar, the hive ships looked like jet-black spaceborne bacteriophages. About 5 times the size of a rat's. The hive ships emitted almost no heat and had no apparent propulsion systems. They would simply appear out of nowhere and unerringly strike their target whale, piercing the volatile ghost skin and injecting their servitors. The hive ship would remain stuck to the whale like a barnacle until it breached again. Then it would disappear. Oh, shout outs to Ryan the Southerner. Yeah, let me see. We fixed what correct? Oh, yeah, we fixed the, yeah, if you were there, I fixed the hard drive that was out of space. Yeah, it is time for me to buy another hard drive, though. God. There's like 40 terabytes of storage in that fucking machine. I just record so much. Play so many games. I have so much pornography, you know, like it's a lot to do. and both whale and parasite would vanish. Mm-hmm. I indeed fixed the thing, yeah. Like I'm not like a technical person, but, made it happen. Okay, so the smarts were dying to know what the hive ships were, how they knew where the whales would appear, and how they could penetrate ghost skin without the whale going supernova. Training instructed Marines. Training said Tards should stand perfectly still whenever they encountered hive servitors. The mechanical spiders usually crawled up a marine or two, decided... No, hold on. Oh, that was a cute message. Okay, what do we got here? Thumbbutt protocol dictated Tards should stand perfectly still whenever they encountered hive servitors. The mechanical spiders usually crawled up a marine or two, decided he wasn't whatever they were looking for. Okay, so what do we got here? Thumbbutt protocol dictated Tards should stand perfectly still whenever they encountered hive servitors. The mechanical spiders usually crawled up a marine or two, decided the platoon. Decided the Tard wasn't whatever they were looking for. The mechanical spiders usually crawled up a marine or two, decided the Tards weren't whatever they were looking for, and then they went back to... Then they went back to infesting the whale. Thumbbutt protocol was the... okay, so that should be... Thumbbutt protocol was the result of a series of A-B tests. B platoons were to stand still and do nothing if they encountered the hive servitors. A platoons were to attempt interaction and, if possible, bring back a sample servitor. All the A platoons died. Lovelorn, Green and Lovelorn, Gunny broke the protocol. He saw a servitor crawling up the back of the gunnery sergeant's leg, moving towards the flamethrower of his heart's desiring. Let's see there. Green and lovelorn, Gunny broke the protocol. He saw a servitor crawling up the back of the gunnery sergeant's leg, moving towards the flamethrower of his heart's desiring. I love that line. The flamethrower of his heart's desiring? Hell yeah. His gauntlets were curled into tight fists. Only Gunny had noticed something was wrong. The servitors didn't look like the sketches he'd seen in training. These were flatter, heavier. Gunny stomped towards the sergeant, intent on swatting the servitor away from the flamethrower. The rest of the platoon gritted their teeth at full pucker, certain this featured rook was about to get them all sculled. Hell yeah. Oh, I don't know why. Such weird emails early in the morning. As Gunny bore down, the servitor skittered around the gunnery sergeant like a squirrel hiding on the other side of a tree. Gunny noticed it had one leg too many. One was thicker than the others. The extra leg was thicker than the others. It ended in a curving point. A stinger. These weren't the harmless spider drones they'd trained for. These were scorpions, warriors. Gunny bellowed a warning and the servitors began to attack. The gunnery sergeant was the first to die. Gunny the rook bellowed a warning and the servitors... So one part about this chapter that I find difficult is that we're calling him Gunny there, but he's not Gunny, you know? And I don't want to give his actual name, because if we turn this into a series, that'll be like a big reveal later on and so forth. So that's just a little awkward there. But these weren't the harmless spider drones they'd trained for. These were scorpions. Warriors. Let's just call him the Rook. Gunny the Rook. Yeah, Gunny the Rook bellowed a warning, and the servitors began to attack. The gunnery sergeant was the first to die, slumping to the floor with a stinger lanced through his heart. The chamber filled with cries of pain from other Marines. Then a moment later, they were drowned out by gunfire. A horde of scorpions was issuing from the spire, and the chamber descended into chaos. Only one Marine had a plan. Gunny ripped the flamethrower off the dead gunnery sergeant's back and claimed it for his own. He set to burn. Glee flickered in his eyes as droves of servitors shriveled in arcs of luminous fire. Wherever his gaze went, flame followed, and his laughter vied with the roar of the guns. The platoon had been on the verge of breaking. Now they were rallying around this cackling aspect of flame, beating back the servitors and fighting their way to the door. Seizing Benny was like drawing the sword from the stone. Gunny/gunnery. Oh yeah, so Gunny is like a Marine slang for gunnery sergeant. That's what that means. Seizing Benny was like drawing the sword from the stone. Gunny found himself in control of both the flamethrower and the platoon, and he knew exactly what to do with both. Room by room, they fought in a pitched retreat to the rats, beating back a seemingly endless horde of scorpions. Whenever a Marine began to flag, Gunny was there, peeling back the horde in a gout of flame, buying them time to hustle. He had yeah, that's not good. Gunny almost bought it a dozen times, but his fire was always faster than the drones. When the door to the rats was finally sealed and they were blasting off, half the platoon had been slain. The Tards who lived would follow Gunny for the rest of their lives. He was a natural. They even managed to bring back the singed husk of a servitor. The smarts were delighted and put the... Okay, so that's here's the problem with this chapter, and like after let me finish let me finish editing this thing, and let's go back on it. So here's the thing. The name of this character is Gunny, right? Gunny is like our gunnery sergeant for the 37th platoon, right? This is a story about Gunny as a rookie. It's his very first mission or whatever. It's a flashback. So maybe we'll just call him Rookie Gunny. And then we'll just specify that that platoon sergeant, maybe we won't even call him a gunnery sergeant there yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll call him Rookie Gunny, and we'll call the other guy the sergeant. And we won't specify that he's a gunnery sergeant, even though we know that TARD platoons just have gunnery sergeants. They just have gunnies. So we're going to make that change in a second here. But first we're going to finish this chapter. Greenhorn. I don't like Greenhorn. It's too west. This ain't a fucking Western. What do we have here? When the door to the rats was finally sealed and they were blasting off, half the platoon had been slain. The Tards who lived would follow Gunny for the rest of their lives. It was a natural. They managed to bring back the singed husk of a servitor. It bought the platoon a week of nod. Gunny's field promotion stuck, and the flamethrower was undeniably his. No one dared suggest otherwise. He took it on every mission afterward. The flamethrower had even survived the rats. Rats crashing into the Moravini. When he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny had expected LT Genie to tut at him for bringing an antique on missions, but she surprised him by gushing with admiration for the twin jet. She even pulled up the weapon's whole service history and told him about all the battles it had been in. That was the day Gunny decided LT Genie was a real one. Eventually, he trusted her enough to ask her what the swoopy writing on Bernie's barrel meant. Mm-hmm. 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 When he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny expected Lieutenant Genie to... Shout out to real ones. Yeah. Hell yeah. When he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny had expected LT Genie to tut at him for bringing an antique... that for wielding doesn't... Yeah. There we go. That's a little bit better. Would she not... Yeah, they just call her LT Genie. Yeah. Good. I think LT Genie is like enough. It's just like a fucking genie of a lamp. It's already... Genie's one of those names that, like, very seldom will you give somebody named Genie a nickname, because Genie's already kind of like a nickname. So, when he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny had expected LT Genie to tut at him for his antique weapon, like all the other techcoms had. When he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny had expected LT Genie to tut at him for his antique weapon, as all the other techcoms had. Instead, she'd surprised him. Yeah, so LT Genie is also not a tart. Um, I don't think her race is specified in here. I don't know that there are even are races at the point. This is pretty far in the future, guys. So I like the shaping that we're doing on this paragraph. We're taking out a bunch of extraneous shit, trying because this is already a long chapter about flamethrowers. You know, we've been going on about flamethrowers for a long time, but we're building towards a point that I want to make here. When he began serving on the Polybius, Gunny had expected LT Genie to tut at him for his antique weapon, as all the other tech comms had. So the S isn't tech comms had. Instead, she'd gush with admiration for the Twinjet, pulling the weapon's service history and telling Gunny about all the battles it had been in. That was the day Gunny decided LT Genie was a real one. Eventually, he trusted her enough to ask her what the swoopy writing on Benny's barrel meant. Lieutenant Genie had laughed like little tinkling bells. She told him it was just cursive and read it for him. The barrel said, "It was a pleasure to burn." Gunny agreed. Blinking back to present. Blinking back to present, suddenly sunny. All right, so I love that he realizes that he's holding his flamethrower in this chamber full of silane. Blinking back to present, Gunny suddenly realized he had a flamethrower drawn in a room filled with explosive gas. Silane would surely turn his pleasure into pain. Glancing at his watch, he realized he'd been daydreaming about flamethrowers for nearly 15 minutes. Gunny shook his head and reslung Benny, then went to check on the Marines. Gunny shook his head and then reslung Bunny. Okay, so blinking back to present, Gunny suddenly realized he had a flamethrower drawn in a room filled with explosive gas. Silane would surely turn his pleasure into pain. Glancing at his watch, he realized he'd been daydreaming about flamethrowers for nearly 15 minutes. Gunny shook his head at himself. He was as featured as Heath's. He reslung Benny and went to check on the progress in the shaft. As he walked over, he tapped his fingers on Benny's tanks reassuringly. Soon, he promised his beloved. Hell yeah. So I actually did not have a hard on writing about this flamethrower. But you could see where... Okay, so let's try and fix that confusion. Let's call him Rookie Gunny. Rookie Gunny. Hell yeah. I like Only the rook. Rookie Gunny I don't like for some reason. Is precious. So I tried that actually. It was originally how that was written. That platoon's Gunny. I think the reader will have difficulty distinguishing between the two Gunnies. It's like, yeah, let's work on it. This is like a really confusing section for that reason. Let me see. Gunny wasn't a gunny back then. Okay, that platoon's gunnery sergeant. Platoon. Gunny the rook. Duh, 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 duh. Gunny the rook broke the protocol. He saw a servitor crawling up the gunnery sergeant's leg, moving towards the flamethrower of his heart's desiring. Rookie Gunny's gauntlets. I like Rookie Gunny there. Yeah. I think skipped a couple of Gunnies if you want. So I think I hope that works out. All right, let's track each instance of Gunny here. Gunny, Gunny, do 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 do. Gunny, Gunny, do 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 do. But Gunny wasn't a Gunny back then. He was just a rook on his very first breach. Benny belonged to another, that platoon's gunnery sergeant. It was hopeless and maddening. Rookie Gunny. All right, I like that there. Gunny the rook didn't even feel afraid. Do we have to stick to one or the other? Gunny the rook. Double D on there. So we can't call him the rook because it is like fucking takes you. It's like I using the definite article. The rook doesn't work out. Yeah, it does sound like Gunny the rook would like fucking break your legs if you didn't pay off your vig or something like that. All right, hold on. So there we use just, it doesn't have to be Rookie Gunny every single time. Yeah, that's fine. Congratulations. This is approaching Heinleinian levels of term confusion. Um, maybe we just that's what we're doing right here. What we're doing is like we've changed it to rookie gunny in parts where we're talking about his inexperience, right? So Gunny the Rook right here. Yeah, I like Gunny the Rook there. So this it just where we're that's fine. I'm done fucking with this. We're done with the chapter for today. All right. So that was chapter. We only got through one chapter today. Like, how much progress did we fucking make? 65. I think we made it through like 10 pages today. That's not bad. This was like a difficult chapter, and it's one of the newer chapters, so it's going to take a little bit longer. But I am tapped the fuck out here. So yeah, thank you guys all for participating. It's some good advice and so forth. And I'm gonna go cook up some breakfast. And what am I doing today? I think is it Friday? What fucking day is today? I don't. Yeah, it's definitely Friday. All right, so we're gonna have the radio show later tonight, and I'm gonna make some coffee in a little bit. And yeah, there's a lot of fucking work here. No, there's two Gunny the Rooks, but one has Rook capitalized and one doesn't. So Rook should be capitalized there. Hold on, let's scroll up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, there we make a Rook capital because it's like a title. Ugh. Yeah. All right. I fucking hit my limit for editing. No more editing for today. That was a struggle right there. All right. Hey, thank you guys all so much for doing this. What are we like chapter 9 right there? So we should be done with this in like 3 or 4 days because there's only like 12 more chapters there. And then maybe I'll just record the audiobook for this thing. So if you know anybody who is willing to do a cover of the song Send in the Clowns, that's what I want to use as the theme music for this guy. And we'll do a recording of the whole fucking book for like Amazon or something. So, yep, Friday. Good luck, everybody. Stay safe. Never get high on your own supply. Penis pump.